Hello learners, welcome back to the course on AI in Human Resource Management. We move to a new module where we're looking into the emerging trends of AI in HRM specifically. We'll look into the critical aspect of compensation and benefits, how AI is facilitating compensation and benefits. We had touched upon this in the previous module, but in this lecture specifically, I would like to discuss it in a detailed fashion. I would want to look into what compensation is, what are the different aspects whereby AI is now existing and playing a vital role. We'll also look into some of the typical case studies, how predictive analytics is used, how sentiment analysis is used in different organizations in a real-time basis, how it is actually facilitating the compensation and benefits domain in the HRM. And we'll also look into one of the demo of one critical, the facilitator, if I can use the word, which actually is enhancing the compensation and benefits part overall within an organization. So we'll look into all these things in this particular lecture. I'm Dr. Abraham Sirlaisak. I'm an assistant professor at the School of Business, Indian Institute of Technology, Guwahati. Now let's start with the basics. Let's understand what specifically is compensation and benefits. Many a time what has happened is that if you look into the traditional organizational structure, it is more of the carrot and stick policy, and it was more of the stick. It was more of the punishment. It was more of the dictums or the directives that were given prominence. But gone are those days. Now people would like to see reinforcement. People would like to see instant gratification. This is the era of instant gratification. When you're looking into some particular job, if I'm doing the job, I should get some recognition suddenly. This is what, or immediately, this is what every present day employee is looking into. On this note, we'll look into what compensation and benefit is and how it has actually transformed itself in giving the employee the real reason to stick into the particular organization. Let's look into compensation and benefits with respect to HRM. When you are talking about compensation, please understand compensation and benefits are critical components of human resource management that typically play a significant role, not only in motivating employees, but also even in attracting new employees and even retaining them. So compensation refers to the monetary rewards that employees receive in exchange for their labor. So this could include anything like, let's say, salaries or wages, bonuses, commissions, and any other financial remuneration. The benefits, on the other hand, encompass non-monetary perks provided to employees. It could be, let's say, in terms of health insurance or some retirement plans or paid time off and other forms of support that enhance the employee experience. So together, compensation and benefits form a total rewards package that organizations offer to their employees. So this particular package not only is there to meet the legal requirements of any organization, but also to create a competitive advantage in the labor market by promoting employee satisfaction and loyalty. So when you look into compensation and benefits, this basic understanding you should have when we discuss more on the AI facilitation. When you are looking into the key components of compensation, as I already mentioned, you have a monetary component directly correlating with compensation and many intangible benefits, mainly with respect to the benefits part. But when you are looking into direct compensation, anything that includes, let's say, salaries, hourly wages, say payments are based on the number of hours worked, or bonuses, additional financial rewards based on performance or achieving, let's say, some specific targets, or some commissions. I hope you would have heard the term commissions are earnings based on sales performance or other measurable outcomes. So these are typically the direct compensation part, which include lot of these factors. Now when you look into indirect compensation, on the other hand, these are specifically non-cash benefits that contribute to an employee's overall compensation. So it could be anything. It could be health insurance, let's say for example, or coverage for medical expenses provided by the employer. It could be some retirement plans, let's say contributions to pension schemes, or it could be even the paid time off, something like vacation days or sick leave or holidays for that matter. These are some of the critical indirect compensation that are available. Now let us focus into equity based compensation. When you are looking into equity based compensation, these are options or shares that are offered to employees as part of the remuneration package, aligning their interest with those of the company. So giving a belongingness, giving a shareholding is the most pragmatic way of compensating an employee, if you ask me, because that will give a stake for the employee also within the organization. So he or she is naturally inclined to perform better, whatever their performance margin is, to improve on that. Now let's understand the importance of compensation and benefits very quickly. As I mentioned in a very peripheral way in the first slide itself, it is key in attracting talent. In a competitive job market, please note, attractive compensation packages are essential for attracting top talent. Now, candidates often evaluate the salary offers alongside the benefits when considering the job opportunities, and this is very much the scenario in all the industries cut across different organizations. So organizations that offer comprehensive compensation and benefits packages are more likely to stand out to the potential hires. There's no denying the fact. It also has a critical benefit of retaining the employees. Please note, effective compensation or compensation strategies help retain the skilled employees by providing them with financial security and recognition for their contributions. So when employees feel adequately compensated for their work, they are less likely to seek opportunities elsewhere. There is also a significant enhancement in motivation when you look into the compensation and benefits. Please note, compensation structures that include, let's say, performance based bonuses or incentives can motivate employees to achieve higher levels of productivity. Recognizing and rewarding hard work fosters a culture of excellence within the organization. Similarly, when you look into the compensation and benefit, it also has a certain element in terms of employee satisfaction. Comprehensive benefits packages contribute significantly to overall employee satisfaction. Let's take an example: health insurance, or for that matter retirement plans and flexible working arrangements. These are some of the typical factors which enhance employees' quality of life, leading to increased morale, increased loyalty to the organization. Another significant importance would be ensuring the compliance. Please note, organizations must comply with various labor laws regarding, let's say, it could be minimum wage. We have discussed this extensively in the industrial relations labor welfare course in the NPTEL platform itself in the previous semester. When you look into organizations, they have to comply with these labor laws. It could be related to wage, it could be related to overtime pay, it could be related to employee benefits, a lot of such factors. So a well-structured compensation plan helps ensure compliance with these regulations while minimizing the legal risk. This is what you should understand with respect to compensation and benefit. But that said, when you actually look into the traditional way of compensation management, there are still some traditional challenges that exist in terms of compensation management. The first and the foremost would be subjectivity. Please note, compensation management has historically been a challenging area for human resource professionals. It is one of the most toughest, vertical, if you ask me, from ensuring fairness and competitiveness to managing compliance with legal standards. Traditional models often encounter several obstacles. So, when you look into these obstacles, the first and the foremost one, I will term it as subjective evaluations. Please note, Traditional compensation models rely heavily on subjective evaluations. It could be based on the performance, based on the skill, based on the contribution. Whatever it is, there is a lot of subjectivity associated with the evaluation. So these assessments often come from managers or supervisors who, despite their best intentions, may bring inherent biases into the decision making process. So when you look into these biases, managers may unconsciously favor certain employees. It could be mainly because of, let's say, some sync in personality, or say some similarity bias. Let's say evaluators favor those who are similar to them, or sometimes based on the historical performance also there can be some biases. All these things are typically inconsistent. Please note, when you are looking into these inherent biases, it will have its own problems, and this is one of the critical challenge when you ask me with respect to the compensation management. Another typical aspect could be the inconsistent evaluation. Please note, without standardized evaluation metrics, assessments of employee contributions can vary widely across departments, managers, or teams. So when you are looking into this inconsistency, this typically undermines fairness, and without doubt it creates dissatisfaction among employees who typically feel they are being unfairly compensated based on or compared to their peers, or the co-employees within the organization. When you look into the traditional challenges, you have to also understand that there are the issues of data silos. What do you mean by this? Compensation data often resides in disparate systems. It could be payroll software, it could be employee performance management systems, or even some financial databases. So these fragmented systems, or what we can term them as data silos, prevent the HR managers from gaining a comprehensive view of compensation trends and employee performance. So this lack of integrated data, when compensation information is spread across different platforms, it becomes difficult for the HR department to analyze this data holistically. Please note, this will also lead to be a time consuming process, a time consuming analysis. Due to this data fragmentation, you understand that compiling compensation reports or analyzing pay equity can be a laborious and time consuming task. So disconnected data sources limit the ability to conduct real-time analysis, leading to slower decision making. Another such significant aspect would be the missed opportunities for insights. Please understand, these data silos typically prevent organizations from gaining valuable insights into compensation practices. It could be identifying pay gaps, optimizing benefits allocation, or even benchmarking against market standards. So integrating these data sets is vital for aligning compensation with business strategies and employee goals. Now let's look into the compliance issue as another traditional challenge, because we are taking up these traditional challenges and we'll see in the end that how AI is actually mitigating these traditional challenges. When you're looking into compliance issues, ensuring compliance with labor laws, it could be wage regulations or any other legal frameworks for that matter, is a significant challenge for HR departments, particularly when compensation is managed through outdated systems, as we were discussing previously. So when you are looking into this as a challenge, complex legal requirements, especially labor laws or regulations governing compensation, vary by country, vary by state, vary by region, making it difficult for multinational organizations to ensure compliance across all their locations. So these typical laws often they mandate minimum wage requirements, overtime pay, or let's say pay equity sometimes, and benefits offering. So staying up to date with frequent changes in these regulations is crucial, but also resource intensive. It takes a lot of resource into picture. So risk of legal violations will also be there in the absence of the robust tracking systems or some of the reporting systems. Organizations run the risk of non-compliance. They also can result in lawsuits or fines, or even the most important issue, which is a reputational damage, which is vital when you compare it with the organizational scale. When you are also looking into the compliance issue, please understand manual processes increases the risk. Relying on manual processes to ensure compliance increases the chance of human error. So it certainly leads to potential violation. So the absence of automated check and balances makes it difficult for human resource management or HR departments to maintain accurate and up-to-date records on something like salary structures or benefits, etc. Now let's look into the traditional challenges in terms of the market competitiveness. Staying competitive with industry standards in terms of, let's say, compensation requires constant monitoring of wage trends. It requires certain benchmarking with respect to the market conditions vis-a-vis the benefits. So traditional compensation models face several challenges in maintaining market competitiveness, mainly because they have a limited market data. Accessing reliable, up-to-date compensation data is crucial for benchmarking against competitors. So traditional models cannot often collect or analyze the data in real time, which we have seen. Compensation packages that are no longer competitive may lead to high employee turnover or difficulty in attracting top talent. When you are looking into the problems, please understand stagnant salary structures are also a critical issue. Traditional compensation models usually rely on annual or biannual reviews of salary structures, so which are typically, if you ask me, they are not dynamic enough to keep up with fast changing market conditions. So as a result, employees may become dissatisfied if they feel their compensation is lagging behind the industry standards. Then there is this geographical disparities. I hope you would have been aware of these aspects when in industry specifically that operate across multiple regions. Maintaining competitiveness is more complex. So salary expectations, or let's say living cost for that matter, and job market conditions vary widely across geographies, making it challenging to implement a uniform compensation strategy. So these are some of the critical traditional challenges which we face with respect to the compensation and benefits. Now let's understand the AI benefits in compensation management. What happens essentially with respect to the introduction of AI? The first and foremost, we'll go with the data-driven decision making. Please note, traditionally compensation decisions relied heavily on manual data gathering and benchmarking, making it challenging to quickly adapt to market fluctuations or changes within the organization. AI-powered systems, on the other hand, they streamline this process by collecting and analyzing massive data sets from diverse sources. It could be, let's say, industry benchmarks, it could be historical pay records, it could be employee performance data, it could be even organizational financial constraints. So with AI, organizations can obtain insights into market trends in real time, identifying the average salaries, the bonus structures that have to be given, and other compensation elements, if any, that are actually relevant to their industry or specific job roles. So when you ask me with respect to the data-driven decision making, I will always tell that AI algorithms continuously analyze this data to provide up-to-date recommendations, enabling companies to make competitive offers and retain key employees without risking pay imbalances. So the data-driven approach not only aligns employee rewards with market standards, but also takes individual factors into account. It could be individual factors like, let's say, the historical performance or contributions to team and company goals altogether. Now let's look into some personalized compensation packages. Specifically, when you're looking into personalized approach, AI's ability to personalize at scale has indeed transformed compensation management by enabling the tailored rewards that meet individual employee needs and typically the preferences. So employees, previously HR teams face the limitations in creating diverse compensation packages, often constrained to, let's say, one size fits all structures that did not account for each employee's unique contributions or career aspirations or life circumstances for that matter. So, with AI, machine learning models assess various factors. It could include something like job performance, it could include skill set, it could include years of experience, or even the career trajectory for that matter, and even some personal preferences to recommend the tailored packages. So in addition to the direct compensation, what we see is that AI can customize benefits as part of a total rewards package. So this might include wellness programs, it may include retirement contributions or educational benefits that match the employee's career stage and future goals. So personalized compensation increases employee engagement, it reduces turnover and makes organizations more attractive to diverse talent pools. Ultimately, it all contributes to a positive workplace culture without doubt. Now let's look into the predictive analytics at play for pay equity. When you're looking into pay equity, ensuring pay equity has become a pressing necessity or pressing priority for organizations as they strive to maintain fairness. They comply with legal standards also, and also foster a diverse, inclusive workplace altogether. So, AI powered predictive analytics, it is vital in achieving these goals by, let's say, detecting potential disparities in pay related to variables. It could be based on something like gender, race, or maybe job function, or even experience, levels of experience. So all these aspects are vital. So traditional pay audits were often reactive and they were conducted very infrequently. So when you are looking into all the audit functions that were happening with respect to the pay in a traditional system, there were a lot of disparities, there are a lot of problems with respect to the pay equity standards. Now predictive analytics, however, allows for a proactive and ongoing analysis. This is the key, ongoing or consistent analysis. So AI models typically analyze compensation data to identify patterns that may lead to inequitable pay prices. For instance, predictive analytics can reveal if certain group of employees such as women or underrepresented minorities are consistently receiving lower compensation, maybe for similar roles or performance levels. So by flagging these issues earlier itself, AI helps HR teams make adjustments before disparities grow, fostering a more equitable compensation structure across the organization. Another significant aspect could be with respect to process automation. When you're looking into AI as a typical facilitator, please note compensation management is highly data intensive. It requires frequent adjustments and also calculations to manage payroll. It requires even manpower for making calculations with respect to tax compliance or even the benefits administration altogether. So all these processes, if handled manually, they are prone to errors and often require extensive time and resources. AI powered automation offers a solution by streamlining these repetitive tasks. They typically help in increasing the accuracy and allowing the HR professionals to focus on strategic high value activities. So AI driven payroll systems, for instance, can automatically, let's say, calculate salaries. They can calculate overtime bonuses, or even they can have an estimation of the tax deductions based on real-time data input. So by reducing manual interventions, AI minimizes errors. It ensures employees are paid accurately and on time and helps avoid costly mistakes or compliance breaches altogether. So if we look into AI-based automation. It can also handle complex regulatory requirements by keeping up with the changes in, let's say, tax code, or as we have discussed again in the labor welfare and industrial relations class in the NPTEL platform itself. Specific to India, we have the new labor codes that are coming into picture. So if there are any particular change with respect to that, we can actually look into, or the AI can actually consider that too, any differences in labor laws or industry standards, allowing HR teams to stay compliant without constant manual oversight. The role of AI is critical also in benefits administration. When you are looking into personalization benefits and personalization benefits packages, personalization means going beyond the standard offerings to design, let's say, a particular scheme of thing or a package that resonate with each employee's unique preferences and requirements. So AI algorithms achieve this by analyzing various data points, including, again, as we have seen, age, career stage, or the family structure, or even the health status, or even some personal interests. So all these data, this typically allows AI to identify trends and preferences across different employee demographics, leading to customized recommendations that align benefits with individual needs. So let's take an example to understand this. A younger employee with no dependents might prioritize, let's say, the student loan repayment support, or professional development, or maybe gym membership over traditional health insurance options. This is quite possible. Conversely, a more senior employee with a family might be more interested in comprehensive health and dental insurance, life insurance, or retirement planning. So by delivering these tailored options, AI enables companies to offer benefit packages that maximize the relevance and appeal to each employee. So this degree of customization fosters a sense of being valued and understood, which can significantly, enhance the engagement and retention. So when you're looking into typically personalized packages, we do have enhanced engagement, and enhancing employees wellness program is another way to go about it. AI powered wellness programs, if you ask me, they are redefining how organizations support employee health well-being by using data from various sources. It could be employee feedback, it could be health assessments, or even some wearable devices that can develop personalized wellness recommendations that address physical, mental, and emotional health. So these platforms, they offer real-time insights and ongoing support, creating a proactive approach to wellness, and that is both preventive and that is also holistic. Another significant aspect is the machine learning algorithm in wellness platforms, which analyzes a range of factors. It could be role-based stress levels, it could be job demands, it could be personal health data, and even the sleep patterns. Another significant factor is the machine learning algorithm in wellness platforms that analyze a range of factors. Something like, let's say, role-based stress level, or something like, let's say, job demands, or something like personal health data, or even sleep patterns. How do you measure the sleep patterns? Maybe with respect to the wearable devices that you are using. So based on these analysis, typically AI can recommend personalized wellness initiatives such as stress management workshops, or physical fitness programs, or even telehealth consultations. Now let's look into the benefits optimization. Benefits optimization is crucial to ensuring that both employers and employees derive the most value from the benefits program. Now, AI allows HR to continuously evaluate and improve the benefits offering by analyzing, as we have seen, the usage pattern, or the employee feedback, or the demographic trends altogether. So what we see is that this continuous assessment provides actionable insights into which benefits are most valued and which may require adjustments to meet employee needs or improve cost efficiency are utilized. Let's take an example. AI can reveal that certain benefits, let's say fitness reimbursements, have low engagement rates with a specific demographic, suggesting a need for relocation or reallocation suggesting a need for reallocation of resources towards benefit that would better serve the group. It could be, let's say, mental health support or flexible work options. So again, based on the context, based on the demographic, based on the population in hand, you may have to look into the personalized service. Conversely, if AI identifies high engagement in a wellness program, but also high stress levels in a department, HR might consider adding more mental health resources or burnout prevention programs tailored for that team. So, this could be the way to go ahead with benefits optimization. When you're looking into streamlining the enrollment and administration, please note, enrollment in benefits program can be complex. It can be time consuming for employees and HR teams alike. So it often, involves a lot of problems or, processes, typically like various forms, the decisions to be made, the processes, regulatory requirements, etc. AI simplifies and streamlines this process by offering an intuitive, guided approach to enrollment that tailors options to each employee's unique profile. So if you ask me, AI-driven enrollment platforms, they guide employees through their options, answering questions and providing recommendations that typically help them make informed choices about which benefit best suit their needs. For example, based on the employee's family status, health needs and role, AI can automatically prioritize relevant benefit options, simplifying the decision making during the enrollment period itself. So when you are looking into AI-powered virtual assistants or chatbots for that matter, they can handle the routine inquiries such as, let's say, explaining the benefits coverage or assisting with eligibility questions and offering guidance on tax advantage accounts or retirement options. So these tools typically reduce the administrative burden on HR teams and ensure employees have quick access to accurate, on-demand information. Now let's look into AI or advanced AI application in compensation and benefits. We start from the predictive modeling for compensation. Compensation planning basically is one of the most critical aspects of HR strategy. We have emphatically established that. It requires an understanding of market trends, as we have seen, or sometimes organizational budget, the understanding of that, or employee expectations, and even long-term growth projections. So predictive modeling uses historical data, it uses industry benchmark, it uses economic indicators and real-time analytics to help organizations plan competitive and sustainable salary structures. So what we see is that through predictive modeling, AI algorithms can analyze the trend across various economic sectors, regions, and job functions to forecast how salaries for different roles might evolve in response to market conditions. Let's take an example. If there is a significant demand increase in a specific skill set or industry, predictive models will account for this shift and suggest adjustments to keep the salaries competitive. So this allows the HR team to proactively adjust compensation packages in anticipation of these changes, ensuring that pay remains attractive and aligned with the industry standards without exceeding the budget constraints. We also see that as the advanced AI has come into picture, there is a significant role played by chatbots and virtual assistants. Let's look into that. Employee engagement with HR, particularly around compensation and benefits, often involves these numerous questions on topics like payroll, on topics like eligibility for benefits, or sometimes there are queries with respect to tax deductions or retirement options. So handling these inquiries can place a heavy administrative burden on HR teams. So AI chatbots typically and the virtual assistants specifically provide an efficient solution by offering real-time support for employee queries, significantly improving the response times and ensuring accurate and consistent information. So AI-powered chatbots are trained to understand and respond a wide range of questions from, let's say, general inquiries like how do I access my benefit portal? As a question as simple as that, to a more specific or complex question like what are the tax implications of contributing to my retirement account, or let's say specific to some particular section of income tax act, how can I actually prevent, or how can I actually get more tax rebate, or am I eligible for family health insurance coverage? So all these complex set of questions can also be answered by these AI chatbots. So these chatbots use NLP to understand questions, retrieve relevant information from HR databases, and they provide instant answers. So employees can access chatbots through multiple platforms. It could be in a company's internal HR portal. It could be the mobile app that is accessible to each and every one of the individuals who are having a smartphone, or even messaging services like, let's say, Slack, making them convenient and accessible. Also, please note that virtual assistants help employees navigate the complex benefit enrollment process. They guide them, let's say, step by step, answering questions as they arise. So when you are looking into the virtual assistants, let's take an example in understanding this better. A virtual assistant might help an employee understand different health insurance options that are available, providing comparisons of deductibles, or what are the premiums, or what are the coverage limits to support an informed decision. So by automating these repetitive interactions, chatbots free up HR staff to focus on more complex issues requiring a personal touch altogether. Another significant factor which I want to discuss today is the sentiment analysis for employee satisfaction. Whenever you are, we have touched upon the sentiment analysis in the previous module. Let's go and understand this in a deeper way today. When you are looking into employee satisfaction, please note, with compensation and benefits, it's a key factor in retention, in engagement, and if you ask me, overall workplace morale. So sentiment analysis powered by machine learning allows the HR teams to actually gauge employee feelings about their compensation and benefits offering. So by analyzing feedback from various sources, it could be something like employee surveys, or some reviews or interviews for that matter, feedback emails, or sometimes internal forum discussions. AI can assess the overall sentiment around compensation, around benefits, and the workplace fairness altogether. So sentiment analysis, as I mentioned, uses NLP to identify words and phrases that indicate positive, neutral, or negative feelings. For instance, let's say employee comments that include words like satisfied or fair or competitive are likely associated with a positive sentiment, while words like unfair, low, or say insufficient, they indicate the dissatisfaction. So AI models can also detect nuanced expressions and context, recognizing when employees discuss feelings about specific benefits such as health insurance, retirement plans, or flexible work options. So this continuous feedback analysis provides HR teams with a real-time understanding of how employees perceive their packages. So if sentiment analysis identifies a recurring theme of dissatisfaction with specific benefits, let's say health insurance or stock options, HR can investigate further and adjust the policies that are typically found necessary. Let's take an example. If, let's say, the sentiment data reveals that employees are increasingly unhappy with their wellness program, HR might consider adding a new mental health resources, or resource altogether, on site, some fitness facilities, or telehealth options to address the concern. So immediate resolution of such critical aspects is possible by analyzing the sentiment or making a clear sentiment analysis. Now let's look into the challenges in AI implementation. When you look into the challenges, we have to again start with the data privacy. We have touched upon it in the previous module, as I mentioned, but we'll see it more from the compensation angle. What are the critical aspects with respect to the data privacy as a challenge? AI driven compensation and benefits systems, they require large volumes of sensitive employee data. We have categorically seen that it is helpful to generate accurate and personalized insights. So this typically includes information such as salary history, or performance metrics, personal identifiers, and sometimes health and financial data. So as AI processes this data to deliver tailored recommendations, please note concerns around data privacy and the security become paramount. So mishandling this data can lead to privacy breaches, it can lead to legal repercussions, and even to a certain extent loss of the employee trust altogether. So beyond regulatory compliance, please note companies should be transparent with employees about how their data will be used, how the data will be processed, and how it will be stored within the AI system. So providing employees with clear information on data privacy policies and gathering their consent is vital for building the trust within the organization. So regularly auditing the AI systems for security vulnerabilities, or keeping the software updated with the latest security patches further enhances the data protection altogether. Please note, by prioritizing privacy and security, companies can create an AI powered compensation and benefit system that respects the employees' data rights and ensures compliance within global privacy standards. Another significant aspect would be the AI bias. AI systems used in compensation and benefits rely on historical data, which may carry underlying biases. So, if not managed carefully, AI can perpetuate or even amplify these biases, leading to unfair outcomes in pay equity, in terms of benefit distribution, or even in the promotions, the career progression within the organization. For instance, if let's say an AI model is trained on historical pay data that reflects gender or racial pay gaps, it might recommend compensation structures that inadvertently favors certain demographics over others. So to prevent such bias, companies must be diligent in curating the data sets used to train the AI models. This involves using typically the diverse or representative data that minimizes historical inequalities. Additionally, if you ask me, AI algorithms should undergo regular audits to identify and correct biases. So, by testing models on varied scenarios and assessing whether the recommendations align with fairness and equity goals, organizations can ensure more equitable outcomes. Now, let's see cost and the infrastructure requirement as a challenge. When you look into implementation of AI for compensation and benefits, it certainly requires significant investment in both software and infrastructure, period. So AI solutions often require robust IT structure to handle large data sets, process complex calculations, and deliver real-time insights. So additionally, if you ask me, AI tools may also require regular updates. They may also require some maintenance and support, which can add to the overall cost. So for many small and medium-sized enterprises, MSME, these costs can typically pose a substantial financial burden or barrier in terms of adoption. So beyond the software and hardware cost also, if you read carefully or understand the utility of this, organizations also need to invest in training HR staff to effectively use and interpret the AI systems. So specialized AI talent such as data scientists or AI specialists may be required to manage and maintain the AI infrastructure, which adds to the operational cost. So for organizations with limited budgets, these financial and technical challenges can slow down or even prevent the adoption of AI in compensation and benefits management. Another significant aspect could be the need for continuous learning and adaptation. When you look into the adaptation as a challenge, please note AI technology is evolving rapidly. There is no doubt about it. It is introducing new tools and methodologies that can enhance the compensation and benefits management altogether. However, this constant evolution requires HR teams to stay updated on the latest AI advancements to maximize the value of these systems. So, adapting to these changes necessitates continuous learning and development for HR professionals who must understand not only the technical aspects of AI but also its ethical implications and potential risks. So, continuous learning might involve training HR staff to interpret AI generated insights accurately and make the data driven decision. Let's take an example to understand this. HR professionals need to understand how to interpret compensation recommendations from AI systems and assess whether these recommendations typically align with organizational goals. Furthermore, AI insights often require context specific interpretation as well as an understanding of the industry standards, the market trends that are there, and the internal company policy. So, all these factors also would need a serious thought. Another significant aspect with respect to adaptation would be the time that is required for this continuous learning, which again would be seen as a resource constraint in many organizations. Now, let's look into the future of AI in compensation and benefits. Let's see this as a career and compensation pathing. When you are looking into one of the most promising advancements in AI for compensation and benefits lies in career and compensation pathing. So it involves, predicting a potential career trajectory for employees and aligning them with appropriate compensation growth. So when you look into AI driven career pathing, it uses a combination of performance data, skill analysis, or even sometimes market trends and employee aspirations to suggest career development paths and salary projections tailored to each individual. Predictive models will assess an employee's current skill set, performance metrics, and industry trends to identify the growth opportunities within the company. For instance, let's look into an employee who demonstrates strong performance or leadership potential in a project management role. So the AI system could suggest a progression toward a senior project manager or a director role, complete with the corresponding compensation adjustments. So this approach provides employees with a clear understanding of how their careers could evolve within the organization, showing the steps and accomplishments needed to reach their goals. Another significant aspect with respect to the future of AI in compensation and benefit would be the real-time customization possibility. Please note, the future of AI in compensation and benefits will also include real-time benefit customizations where AI systems can adjust benefits offering dynamically to reflect changes in an employee's life circumstances, performance, or his or her preferences. Currently, many organizations offer standard suite of benefits with limited flexibility to adapt to an employee's evolving needs. When you talk about real-time benefits customization, it would enable a more fluid approach, allowing employees to access and adjust their benefits package in response to personal changes or newly emerging needs. When you talk about the future of AI in compensation and benefits, we have to also talk about the enhanced privacy that will come into picture. With AI playing an increasingly central role in analyzing the sensitive employee data, please note data privacy will be a top priority for all future compensation and benefits innovations. So, as AI systems gather, they analyze and store large volumes of personal and financial data to personalize compensation and benefits, the risk of data breaches and privacy violations also arise. So, enhanced data privacy measures will be critical in maintaining employee trust and complying with evolving data protection regulations worldwide. And I believe that in the future, AI systems will typically incorporate more advanced data encryption techniques such as homomorphic encryptions, which allows data to be processed while still being encrypted. So this approach means sensitive information remains secure even during analysis, reducing the risk of exposure. So AI will also employ differential privacy techniques which introduce, let's say, noise into data sets to mask individual identities allowing organizations to gain insights without compromising the employee privacy. So these technologies, alongside secure, decentralized data storage systems such as blockchain for that matter, will provide an added layer of protection against the unauthorized access or breaches. Now let's look into some of the typical case studies which are there, which gives us a practical insight into what we were learning theoretically till now. Now, when you look into Google, you see that there are some personalized compensation packages akin to what we have discussed in our previous slides. Google uses AI to determine market competitive pay rates, adjust benefits based on employee preferences, and manage perks that contribute to the employee satisfaction. So their systems continuously adapt to market trends, ensuring they offer competitive packages. Other significant aspect that can be observed is with IBM, which optimizes benefits administration altogether. IBM employs AI in its benefits administration using predictive analytics to optimize the health programs and personalize the benefits for employees. So this has improved employee engagement with health and wellness programs, leading to higher productivity. Also, Amazon has an automated compensation management system altogether. Amazon uses this AI-driven algorithms to analyze performance metrics and make salary decisions based on that. So the automated system ensures that the compensation reflects productivity, helping the company retain high performers in a competitive market or in a competitive world altogether. Now, having considered these typical cases, let's look into the best practices and try to summarize the best practices for implementing AI in compensation benefits quickly. The first and the foremost I'll go with would be to ensure the data quality and diversity. Please note, high quality diverse data sets reduce the risk of biases in AI driven compensation and benefit decisions. There is also a possibility of engaging the stakeholders. It involves employees, it involves HR teams, leadership in the AI adoption process to ensure transparency and alignment with company values. You also see monitor and auditor AI systems. When you are looking into regular audits, they help ensure that AI systems remain accurate and unbiased. There could be also a possibility of HR training. Please note, training helps HR professionals interpret AI outputs and make data-driven decisions that align with the company goals. And finally, you can prioritize privacy and compliance. Implement stringent security measures to protect sensitive employee data and comply with regulations. As I mentioned in the beginning of the session, we will try to take up a particular example, specifically case of Bamboo HR. I think some of you would have definitely heard about that. It's an automated payroll demo by Bamboo HR. So you can again go and explore. I'm just giving you some insights into what is possible with respect to this mode of teaching. But then you look into this, you can go to the website, go with the more paid options and versions, and as per the requirement of your organization, you can actually fine tune that. When you're looking into automated payroll by Bamboo HR, if you open it, opens something like this. This would be the interface of Bamboo HR specifically. When you look into the payroll, there are different options like you see home, my info, people, hiring, reports, file. You can go to the payroll, which has a dedicated functionality there. A new payroll can be created via start payroll. Also on the page we can see typically how many people are to be paid along with the due date. So basically the missing data or how many people to be paid, what's the extra pay. A lot of information is available at this particular point in time itself. So you can always create or drop down and see what are the typical payrolls associated with you. Then you can look into the typical aspects of people being paid with respect to the detailed status report. So this can give you a quick check into where you are standing with respect to your payroll administration altogether or the benefits administration. So if any bonuses or extra pay is required to be set, that can also be done in extra pay settings if you note. So people being paid, we have checked. Extra pay is also possible. You can have a look into that. You can always just give the breakdown or see the breakdown, upload extra pay details here. So once, let's say, all this data is entered, you can see that the summary of the payroll on the home page comes up. So what would be the total gross pay? What would be the the amount that is already transferred? What are the different cash requirements, or how many people are paid? How many people have been excluded from this payroll? So all the details are obtained within the entire payroll management system altogether. So technologically and with respect to time, it has given a certain level of edge. There is no doubt about it. You have a lot of other options. I've just introduced you to Bamboo HR. There are a number of other examples as well. But with respect to your organization needs, as I mentioned, with respect to what are the requirements of your company per se, you can typically look into what best suits you. Again, go back and explore on these options. It saves a lot of resources, including time. It gives you a credible objectivity to all those. Sometimes, all these things done manually, it is prone to error. Many a time we say that to err is to human. And, many a time we see that with the advent of AI, we can see that the objectivity is coming into picture, the accuracy is coming into picture. Please note, I would want you to think about it. When you are looking into the personalized data, sometimes with respect to compensation and benefit, I've already discussed this, and I just want you to have a thought process with respect to that particular point. Many a time we see that, let's say, a youngster in an organization would prioritize more of his maybe gym membership or benefits related to his health, whereas a person who is bit old in terms of age would actually look for health programs that are more family oriented, or maybe some personalized health programs which can actually cater to his or her own diseases or troubles they are having. So please note, these things were practically impossible without the advent of AI. And once AI has come into picture, all the compensation and benefits administration, as we have seen emphatically, we have seen in ways, in terms of the importance, in terms of the benefits, in terms of the challenges, even in terms of the way it can be executed. All these things have actually facilitated a greater objectivity into the compensation and benefit, which otherwise was subject to, there is no denying the fact that it was otherwise subject to a lot of favoritism, a lot of bias, which can be actually eliminated out of the compensation and benefits administration. So that's all from today's class. See you with more details in the next class. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.